guys, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Happy Chirp. Today I have with me somebody जिनको मैं पहले भी बुला चुकी हूँ, लेकिन I think उस बात को अब 2 साल हो गए हैं. So they have changed, I have changed, things have changed. So I thought it'd be nice to bring her back again. आज मेरे साथ है Anmol Sultan, who happens to be a really, really good friend of mine. And she is also an aesthetic physician, which is a very interesting field और हम उसको थोड़ा ज़्यादा explore करेंगे because I don't think कि उसके बारे में बात होती है या लोगों को ठीक से उस field के बारे में पता है. So hi Anmol, how are you?
I am very well, Hamna. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel to be back on the podcast?
It's still intimidating. It's still like kuch ho raha hai. You know, like I don't know, the setting is just
It's all the lights and the everything.
cameras and the action.
But you were just talking to me. Yeah, don't worry about anything else. And we talk a lot. So
Yes, let the conversations begin.
yeah. Okay, anyway, so Anmol, now you've become an aesthetic physician. My shadi hui, you've become an aesthetic physician, right? Growing up, you wanted to be a doctor. You became a doctor.
Yeah.
लेकिन जब तुम doctor बनी थी, so did you think that this is what you were going to end up doing?
No.
Okay.
Actually, absolutely not. And यही opportunity मैं लेना चाहती हूँ लोगों को ये बताने के लिए कि throughout my time in medicine, first year में मैं cardiologist बनना चाहती थी क्योंकि my dad wanted me to be a cardiologist. Second year में मैं dermatologist बनना चाहती थी. नहीं, because my mom wanted me to be one. And then it just kept changing. I wanted to go into gastro. I wanted to go into nephro at one point. I wanted to go into neurosurgery at one point. But एंड पीपल अराउंड मी, मुझे इस तरह फील होता था कि उनको हमेशा लगता है कि मुझे लगता था कि उनको हमेशा पता है कि उन्होंने क्या करना है, उन्होंने आगे जाके क्या बनना है. मुझे कभी पता नहीं होता था. मैं हमेशा अनश्योर होती थी, कभी किस चीज़ का दिल कर जाता था, कभी किस चीज़ का. सो आई थिंक इट्स ओके, लाइक लाइफ फाइंड्स अ वे एंड समहाउ जैसे जैसे टाइम गुजरता है आपके लिए रास्ते खुलते रहते हैं और आसान होते रहते हैं एंड यू फाइंड योर सेल्फ समवेयर. सो फॉर पीपल हु आर स्टडीइंग, जो भी स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो भी वो हैं, इतना स्ट्रेस लेने की बात नहीं होती है. एवरीथिंग हैपन्स, एवरीथिंग फाइंड्स इट्स वे. सो मुझे ये बहुत ज़्यादा फील होता है.
आई थिंक थोड़ा अपने आप को टाइम और स्पेस देने की बात होती है. उसको इतना इंटरनलाइज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि आई स्टिल डोंट नो what I'm going to do with my life.
And also sometimes there's people जो अपनी फील्ड छोड़ देते हैं और कुछ और करना शुरू कर देते हैं एंड वो उनके तुम्हारे आई डोंट थिंक दिल में ये बात रहेगी. सो मेनी पीपल आई नो, उनके दिल में ये बात रह जाती है कि बट मैं अपनी फील्ड से रिलेटेड नहीं कर रही हूँ, बट मैंने इसमें पढ़ाई नहीं की थी. काश कि
उसकी वजह ये कि मुझे क्यों नहीं ये चीज़ अब फील होती. पहले होती थी, ऑब्वियसली स्टार्ट में हर किसी को होती है. और शुरू में ना बंदा जब अपने आप को डिस्कवर कर रहा होता है, उससे रियलाइज़ हो रहा होता है कि यार मेरे दूसरे पैशंस भी हैं विच आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम माई डिग्री. एंड तो बंदे को ना थोड़ा सा गिल्ट भी हो रहा होता है एंड यू आल्सो ट्राइंग टू होल्ड ऑन टू द योर अदर स्टफ ना कि अच्छा ये मैं भी कर तो रही हूँ बट यू नो. बट ओवर टाइम लाइक आई रियलाइज्ड कि जो भी चीज़ हुई, जो भी सीखा, उसकी एक अपनी अलग वैल्यू थी. एंड आई डोंट रिग्रेट कि मैं डेंटल स्कूल गई थी और मैंने डेंटिस्ट्री पढ़ी थी क्योंकि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे देयर वर सो मेनी अदर थिंग्स एंड स्किल्स एंड थिंग्स आई लर्नड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट एक्सपीरियंस. 4 years in Lahore, hostel life. Even the things that I learned from dentistry, you know, उनकी अपनी value है. They add to your personal growth. Doesn't mean
yes.
Yeah, and दूसरा like जो the reason for that actual pressure is what people are going to say at the end of the day. And you know, I was like कि इस चीज़ को I can't let that define what I'm going to do with my life.
And that's very brave.
How unfair.
People don't find, यार at the end of the day the society we live in, बात somehow somewhere लोग क्या कहेंगे पे आ जाती है.
हाँ, आ जाती है.
And it defines how we think. Like somebody might be a really good dancer or a really good singer. For example, Hassan Rahim doing medicine, really good singer. And अब उसके दिमाग में होता कि लोग क्या कहेंगे, वो मेडिसिन ना छोड़ता for example, तो where would he have been today?
Yeah, plus I also gave myself this forgiveness or grace कि भाई like you know when you step in, it's too early to decide, and it's too early to decide, and it's also never too late to decide what you where your heart is. It's fine, like suddenly, like you know, you feel like doing something. हाँ, मैं ये ज़रूर कहूँगी कि बंदे को इतना डैबलर भी नहीं होना चाहिए कि अनस्टेबल हो, कभी कुछ कभी कुछ.
बिल्कुल.
एक्सप्लोरेशन का टाइम लेना चाहिए जिसमें यू डैबल एज मच एज यू वांट, बट व्हेन यू फाइंड दैट थिंग, even if it loses its motivation at some point, if it really is your passion, you have to, like, आपने determination के साथ उस चीज़ को pursue करना है. And in my case, it's safe to say that it's not like कि मुझे dentistry करने का शौक नहीं है. जब मैं उस environment में होती हूँ, I'm unhappy. I love doing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what gets you.
हाँ.
अगर if you hated what you studied, तब तो आपको नहीं फील होता
हाँ
कि यार शिट मैंने ये करना था. नहीं, बट इफ़ यू एन्जॉय व्हाट यू स्टडीड एंड यू आर नॉट इन दैट फील्ड, तो फिर एक दिल में रह जाती है. एंड आई जस्ट वांट टू से नहीं रहनी चाहिए. देयर इज सो मच बेटर आउट देयर फॉर यू. देयर इज मच बेटर बिगर प्लान्स आउट देयर फॉर यू. जस्ट लेट गॉड unfold some of those plans for you. And if you're in that rut where you feel like shit मैं ये नहीं करना चाहती या नहीं करना चाहता था और मैं इधर हूँ और मैं शायद नहीं अचीव कर सका जो मैं करना चाहता था, इट्स ओके.
आई थिंक अपने आप को ना सेल्फ डिस्कवरी का थोड़ा चांस देना चाहिए. जो आपको तब मिलेगा जब आप दूसरों की बातें सुनना छोड़ोगे और अपनी आवाज़ सुनोगे. दैट यू नो व्हाट डू आई वांट टू डू.
अपनी आवाज़ बहुत डिम थी, बहुत डिम.
माँ बाप की होती है या सोसाइटी की होती है या बहन भाई की, तो वो इतनी ज़्यादा होती है कि इतनी शोर होता है कि आपको अपनी आवाज़ ही नहीं आती.
आपको पता नहीं होता मैंने खुद क्या करना है.
बिकॉज यू नॉट लिसनिंग टू योरसेल्फ, यू आर लिसनिंग टू एवरीवन बट योरसेल्फ.
डिक्टेटिंग यू एंड टेलिंग यू कि नहीं ये करोगे तो इज्जत मिलेगी, ये करोगे तो पैसा मिलेगा, ये करोगे तो तुम्हारे लिए बेहतर होएगा. एंड ऑल्सो फॉर पीपल हु कम फ्रॉम शेल्टर्ड हाउस होल्ड्स और यंगर सिबलिंग्स
लाइक यू,
तो उनको ज़्यादा नहीं पता होता कि वो कौन है. I only discovered myself when I left home, when I went for university, and I found you, and I found all these other friends, and I started discovering कि हाँ यार मैं इस situation में I'm capable of doing this and I'm not capable of doing this. In the sense कि मैं that's how I found out मैं एक अच्छी इंसान हूँ क्योंकि मैं किसी के साथ कभी ज़्यादती नहीं करती given whatever the circumstances. या आपको अपनी इंटेग्रिटी का पता चलता है उस टाइम पे जब आप अकेले होते हो, जब आपके सर पे कोई भी नहीं होता. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
या एंड आई थिंक आपको वो स्पेस चाहिए होती है लोगों से और उन एनवायरनमेंट से, ताकि आपको so that you can let yourself guide you rather than everything else which is dictating that. So so we were there कि this is not what you had decided to do, but this is what you've become now. तो उसकी जर्नी क्या थी, कैसे हुआ ये कि तुम पहले कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट बनना चाहती थी, फिर न्यूरोसर्जरी में जाना चाहती थी, क्या हुआ जब तुम्हारा MBBS ख़त्म हुआ? So give us in a chronological order sort of कि MBBS ख़त्म हुआ, उस वक्त तुम्हारे दिमाग में क्या था, फिर हाउस जॉब में क्या हुआ, आगे क्या हुआ, किस तरह तुम इस पॉइंट पे पहुंची हो?
So वही बात, एवरी ईयर, फर्स्ट ईयर, सेकेंड ईयर, थर्ड ईयर ऑफ मेड स्कूल, इट वुड चेंज फॉर मी. मैं कुछ और करना चाहती थी, कुछ और करना चाहती थी. वेयर एज पीपल अराउंड मी वो फर्स्ट ईयर में भी वही बनना चाहते थे जो वो फाइनल ईयर में बनना चाहते थे. एंड आई यूज्ड टू थिंक, ओ माई गॉड, आई जस्ट डोंट हैव माई शिट टुगेदर. देन आई ग्रेजुएटेड एंड आई वाज लाइक हाँ जी, अब्रॉड जाना है, पढ़ाई करनी है, स्पेशलाइज करना है, मेडिसिन में करना है. ड्यूरिंग माई हाउस जॉब, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy helping people. During my house job, I just had some extra time on my hands and मैंने सोचा अच्छा पता नहीं अभी भी क्या करना है, बस ये पता है कि मेडिसिन की साइड पे जाना है. Obviously सब स्पेशलिटीज़ होती हैं, सर्जरी एंड देयर सब स्पेशलिटीज़, मेडिसिन एंड देयर सब स्पेशलिटीज़. बस मेडिसिन में किसी चीज़ में आई में भी जा सकती हूँ, ENT में जा सकती हूँ, कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. I picked up this side hustle and I started working in a clinic.
और ये तुम्हारी हाउस जॉब के बीच में था?
This was like 6 months into my house job.
तो क्यों, why did you decide कि तुम एक क्लिनिक में काम करना चाहती हो?
Because at the time मेरी डर्मेटोलॉजी की रोटेशन चल रही थी.
ठीक है.
And I was asking around कि अच्छा I have a lot of spare time, उसमें calls भी नहीं हो रही थी and stuff.
अच्छा, so your schedule was chill.
My schedule was chill, so I was like, okay, let's take up some extra time. Also, frankly speaking, I was in a very bad place in my life at the time, and I would rather distract myself with work than you know, be home or be alone with my thoughts. I would rather overwork myself to the point कि मुझे सोचने की ज़रूरत ना पड़े कुछ ज़्यादा, rather than सोचने की ज़रूरत पड़े और मैं work through करूँ उन चीज़ में से. I think sometimes लोगों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, जो हो रहा होता है too much होता है, तो वो disassociate करने के अलावा कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते हैं, and that's okay. So I picked up this extra job. I started working. I was like, मैंने तो बस 2 महीने करने हैं ये, नो बस 2-3 महीने ही करूँगी, ज़्यादा नहीं. Obviously जब तक house job है, जब तक ये है वो है. And when I started doing it,
What was it?
It was aesthetics. I was working in a clinic. I started from Rawalpindi. I was working in a clinic. I was trained by this brilliant doctor, Dr. Hamid Hassan, who is a surgeon, and he has his clinics in Islamabad and Rawalpindi. And he trained me and he mentored me and taught me a lot of the things that I know today. And when I started doing it, I realized कि मुझे fulfillment मिल रही है.
काम अच्छा लग रहा था.
काम अच्छा लग रहा है. मैं ये कर सकती हूँ, ये भी कर सकती हूँ. मेरे लिए कभी भी ये नहीं होता था मैं ये नहीं कर सकती या वो नहीं कर. मुझे होता था मैं कर सब कुछ लूँगी बट क्या करूँ. And मैं सोचा it started like कर सकती हूँ लेकिन no, I'd rather do something proper in medicine. फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता as time passed and I got fulfillment from the fact कि लोग कितना बेहतर फील करते हैं. Fulfillment from the fact कि I'm so good with doing something with my hands. There's just something about being able to do something with your hands.
Very relatable. इसलिए dentistry is always feels more rewarding than MBBS वाली जो जितनी भी बाकी medicine की other fields है.
Somebody like writing prescriptions is still fulfilling, still great, but there's for me something about doing with your hands, being able to do something.
Yeah.
And I realized I was pretty good at it. And I realized I was very, I wasn't the kind कि ऊपर से सीख लिया तो वो I would like research on things that I was doing and do newer things with the.
खुद से आ रहा था तुम्हारे अंदर से कि मैं इसको ज़रा like इस मतलब वो एक अंदर से तुम्हारी एक चीज़ आ रही थी कि मैं इसको और एक्सप्लोर करूँ और इस तरह करूँ.
मैं ये ऐड कर लूँगी या ये वाली टेक्निक यूज़ करूँगी तो ओके इट मेक सेंस बिकॉज इवन गूगल सेज कि फलानी लेयर ऑफ द स्किन में ये होता है इसलिए यू शुड टारगेट दैट लेयर इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस लेयर, ऑल ऑफ दैट स्टफ. सो आई रियलाइज दैट आई हैव दिस ग्रोथ माइंडसेट वेयर आई एम लाइक आई एम नॉट लाइक लकीर का फकीर के बस ये इतना सा बता दिया तो इतना सा बता दिए. आई वॉन्ट टू लर्न मोर
विच शोज कि तुम्हारा दिल उसके अंदर वाकई था कि तुम्हारे अंदर से एक चीज़ आई थी कि और सीखो. हाँ
अंदर से बहुत सारी चीज़ों के लिए आ रही थी. But and then I started working at Estheticare. They found me. They asked me to join. I was very loyal to my old boss, so I was like, no, I will not. But then with time, I realized that naturally you have to grow. You obviously it's a bigger place, better position, better everything. ठीक, I have my loyalties somewhere, but I'll try to manage both. So I started this juggling.
इस पॉइंट पे हाउस जॉब खत्म हो गई.
इस पॉइंट पे हाउस जॉब खत्म हो गई.
ठीक है.
इस पॉइंट पे हाउस जॉब खत्म हुई, मेरी शादी हुई, and then I started working in the same clinic again. After my शादी, I got discovered by Estheticare, and then they were like, please come. फिर मैंने सोचा I'll juggle both the jobs. So at this point I was doing 2 jobs. अफ्तारी से पहले मैं अपने पुराने क्लिनिक पे काम करती थी. This is last Ramzan. अफ्तारी के बाद मैं इस क्लिनिक. I was just at it. I was working day and night.
और मज़ा आ रहा था.
And it was exhilarating and it was so good because somewhere deep down, coming from a household where my mom doesn't work, she's a housewife, which is a full-time job, believe me, but still आपको एक वो feeling आती है. My sisters weren't working at the time, like people around me, just you've had your mom as an example or your life, she's like a go-getter, she's been working all her life and getting her shit sorted and progressing throughout.
You didn't have that kind of role model.
I didn't have that kind of role model. So मेरा एक deep-seated fear होता था, एक internal voice होती थी that would say कि तुमने ना बस कुछ भी नहीं करना, तुमने बस मेडिसिन करके ज़ाया कर दिया है, बस तुमने कुछ भी नहीं अचीव करना लाइफ में. इट वॉज दिस नेगेटिव इंटरनल आवाज़ जो नहीं होनी चाहिए. बट अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एट द टाइम जो मुझे इतनी एंग्जाइटी जो चीज़ देती थी, उसी चीज़ ने मुझे आफ्टर शादी इतना प्रोपेल किया इनटू माय करियर दैट आई वाज अफ्रेड कि मैं
मतलब out of fear you were like I must.
Fear, I was like, I must work. I must do this. I must achieve something, or I will be like, birthing babies and not doing anything for the rest of my life, which is again okay, but it's not something I wanted. Sometimes people want that. They want to be housewives. They want to build a home. That's also a full-time job once again. But I would not have been happy with that.
Acha, why do you think so?
Why do I think so? ये therapy हो रही है मेरी यहाँ पे. Why do I think so?
So मैं क्यों लगता है कि that wasn't for you and this is something you wanted?
Because I felt like it would give me more worth. Maybe that comes from my childhood, from the way my parents brought me up. कि वही बात, you're worthy if you're doing something. It definitely does stem from that. You're worthy when you have a specific title or when you have a specific it did definitely come from that. But you're worthy regardless. Easy to say these things, but deep down we are still practicing the things that society has taught us. So I did not find worth or value in just being myself, even though I really liked myself. I think I'm a good person, but I did not find value for myself. Felt like I will be less worthy if I am not achieving something saath. So that's why I wanted to work. I wanted to be like, हाँ मैं कुछ ना कुछ कर रही हूँ अपनी लाइफ के साथ.
So फिर then you started working at Estheticare. अच्छा, अब मुझे बताओ, at this point when you are working in Estheticare, did these thoughts sort of come into your mind? क्योंकि लोगों का ये होता है कि जो aesthetic physicians हैं, जो aesthetics में हैं, वो they're not really doctors. Like एक बात सुनने को बोलते हैं और डेंटिस्ट को भी मिलती है. और aesthetics वालों को, और उनको aesthetic वालों को I think थोड़ी ज़्यादा मिलती है because उन्होंने MBBS डिग्री की है और उसके बाद वो ये कर रहे हैं. तो लोग कहते हैं यार ये तो कोई भी कर सकता है, ये क्यों किया, ज़ाया किया. ये चीज़ें तुम्हारे जहन में आती थी या एंड लाइक डिड यू ऑलवेज फील लाइक किस पॉइंट पे, मैं ये पूछना चाह रही हूँ कि यू वर लाइक कि यार स्क्रू ऑल दैट, आई नो इट्स ओके एंड दिस इज़ व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. किस पॉइंट तक तुम्हारे दिमाग में ये था कि अभी भी मैं वो कर लूँ या मैं स्टेप दे दूँ या मैं फलानी जगह, किस पॉइंट तक था?
Oh God, till very recently. I think perhaps 6 months or 8 months in. 8 months ago. मुझे था तब तक. One, why? Because there's so much to say here.
हाँ बोलो. So there's a lot of time. So yeah.
So even when I joined Estheticare, I was like, नहीं मैं तो ये थोड़े से टाइम के लिए करी हूँ, मैंने तो एक्चुअली स्पेशलाइज करने बाहर जाना है. मैं तो ये थोड़े से I kept lying to myself. I kept being in denial कि नहीं मैंने करना है.
This is temporary.
And because वो चीज़ सेटल नहीं हो रही थी मेरे साथ कि लोग क्या कहेंगे वाली चीज़. दूसरा, I knew I did not, at this point I realized I do not want to do dermatology. Dermatology doesn't float my boat. Let's just put it that way. It is the study of skin diseases and the pathology of those diseases. When I did my aesthetics, I am studying the pathology of aging skin. Okay, so लोग कहते हैं and regenerative medicine. So लोग कहते हैं कि ओ नहीं ये तो dermatologist नहीं है, ओ हमें dermatologist नहीं. और इतना नहीं हुआ मेरे साथ, लेकिन वो एक माइंड में जो आपके लोग थोड़ा बिठाते रहते हैं, बट मुझे इतना फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ा. Because when I went for my diploma to Dubai from American Academy of Aesthetic Medicine, and I'm also a member of that now. तो वहाँ पे मैंने realize किया people from all walks of medicine. There were 4-year trainee surgery के, there were 3rd-year gynae residents, there were dentists, there were so many people, and I was the youngest one over there. And when I started interacting with these people, they said, you know what, you're doing something great. Because I wish we knew at your age that this is what we wanted to do. I wish that we hadn't wasted 5 years of like day in, day out residency and calm and training and surgeries and night calls and all of that to finally realize कि यार मैंने ना ये नहीं करना.
how nice to hear, especially because तुम्हारा पहले ये fear था कि तुमने बहुत late figure out किया है. So हाँ.
And then that's when I realized कि मैं जब कान को यहाँ से पकड़ सकती हूँ तो मैं क्यों डर्मेटोलॉजी करके और यहाँ से आके एस्थेटिक्स के लिए काम.
और आई थिंक वो डर्मेटोलॉजी का तुम इसलिए सोची थी ताकि लोगों को तुम कह सके मैं डर्मेटोलॉजिस्ट तो हूँ. हाँ, ठप्पा.
And I realized बाहर जाके कि you don't need to be a dermatologist to practice aesthetics. When I went out into the world and I got a little exposure in this field, I found out that there's people from all fields who are coming into this field because this is now a recognized medical field. It's not something that you have to be a dermatologist and then you can do this. One of my professors there who was teaching me was a gynecologist who's been in aesthetics for the past 20 years and she's really good and she's helped form the American Academy. You know? So I was like मैं किन लोगों की बातों में आ रही हूँ या मैं क्या कर रही हूँ.
और दुनिया कितनी बड़ी है और कितने लोग हैं और लोग क्या कुछ कर रहे हैं. तो ये छोटी माइंडसेट और छोटी चीज़ें that are basically holding you back. It's not fair to you. Like literally it's like, you know, you're doing injustice to your being who wants to do something, and because of all of that,
all of the बातें या लोग क्या कहेंगे, आप शाये हुए कर जाते हो उन चीज़ों से. But it's not worth it. You have one life, you know, and क्या मिल जाए आपको. किसी ने मेडल पिलाना है आपने ये किया है माशाल्लाह जी, आपने ये नो, किसी ने आपको मेडल नहीं पहनाना. Do what you want to do and the people who have to talk will talk regardless. आप चाहे अच्छा कर रहे हो आप बुरा कर रहे हो, लोगों ने बातें करनी है. Let's all accept that.
मेरी लाइफ का बहुत फनी एग्जांपल है. जब मैं डेंटल स्कूल में थी, डेंटिस्ट करी थी, ब्लॉगिंग शुरू की तो लोगों ने मुझे कहा यार ये क्या कर रही हो.
Exactly.
या ये क्या करिए, टाइम वेस्ट करिए, ज़ाया करिए, फेल हो जाएगी. जब मैंने ये सक्सेसफुल कर लिया तो, और whenever I would bring up कि हाँ I want to try joining a clinic again, no, why would you do that, you're doing so, and it's the same people, like it's odd.
It's ridiculous. People don't know.
Only you know.
One more thing is कि being a woman मुझे बहुत सोचना पड़ा about the fact कि जब मेरी शादी होगी, my husband is settled here, has businesses here, so cannot obviously move with me to the US or UK, right? And उस टाइम पे मुझे अपने आप को ये देखना पड़ा कि जब मैंने कैसे छोड़ा कि मैंने बाहर जाके स्पेशलाइजेशन.
तुम चाहती थी कि तुम बाहर जाना चाहती थी.
मैं बाहर जाना चाहती थी स्पेशलाइजेशन करने. दैट्स वन थिंग दैट आई न्यू. आई लेट दैट गो बड़ी मुश्किल से, obviously with time when I started finding my roots here, my footing here in aesthetics. And then one more thing कि I can either have an exceptional career and a bad marriage or a below average marriage, because let's face it, long distance, it makes a difference in any relationship. And दूसरा point मुझे नहीं, you know, जिस तरह हम कल बात करते, you need the support of a partner. You need them to be there when you're down or when you're happy. You want to share your good, your bad with them. What is the point when they're not there? So I had to make that decision कि I can have an exceptional career and specialize abroad, and have a bad marriage or have a good career and a good marriage over here. So वो चीज़ मैंने दुआ करके और एवरीथिंग करके, दैट फाइनली लाइक यू नो दैट सुकून केम टू मी कि अच्छा ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, लेट दैट थिंग गो टू हैव मियाना रवि एंड यू नो हैव द बेस्ट ऑफ बोथ वर्ल्ड्स, रादर देन एक चीज़ बहुत अच्छी और दूसरी चीज़ की वजह से
आपको दोनों चीज़ें एक्सट्रीम पे मिल रही हैं. इन दैट केस राइट, यू आर रियली लूजिंग आउट ऑन योर पार्टनरशिप एंड मैरिज एंड रिलेशनशिप. And but you're getting that, and but honestly, Anmol, like it's interesting you brought this up because you know ये एक औरत की struggle है.
ये एक औरत की स्ट्रगल है
कि जहाँ उसको
having to make that decision कि मेरी शादी जो है important है. No, there's so many men who are working abroad.
Like women, a lot of the women have to choose between their dreams and their marriage because their partner's life does not align with their goals and their dreams. So unfortunate है कि you know a lot of women have to sacrifice their dreams and goals and be like कि ठीक है अब यहाँ शादी होगी और यहाँ है तो यही figure out करना है और जो भी करना है
और किस तरह है. Nobody is going to, बहुत rare होता है, lucky हैं वो औरतें जिनके लिए ये होता है, but nobody will relocate for you, for your job, for your whatever it might be.
मैंने देखा है अब rare cases में, because I personally know some people actually I'll just talk about my manager here. Like she got a job in Dubai. She's been living with her husband in Karachi, married, have a baby, and she got a very kick-ass opportunity. So she took it and she is, doing it. And now her husband, even not yet, but he's trying to move for her because he didn't expect her to give up this amazing opportunity,
Yeah.
So here's to say कि ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हाँ, like for a lot of people it's basically मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि कुछ couples में it's like कि it's not even a question, it's not even a consideration कि अगर औरत move करना चाहती है या उसके लिए certain location is important, a certain dream is important, so there's no consideration. It's like if he's living there and this is his work and this is his place, तो
मैंने भी यही settle करना,
तो यही है, that's the end of it. लेकिन in a lot of cases I do understand कि you have to sit and have that conversation कि यार it's fine as long as you're having that conversation, whether that eventually does mean that the girl has to make that sacrifice. What I'm trying to say is if you weigh the pros and cons and the pros actually do lie with being with the husband and him, and rather than you doing that, it makes sense because at the end of the day it's a partnership. It's not just you and your life, right?
बात बताऊं, there are so many couples that I know जिनमें ये बात होती है, so I'm not stopping you.
हाँ,
आप चलिए, आप कर लो. But then being a woman again you think यार अच्छा ठीक है, रोक तो नहीं रहा मुझे, लेकिन should I be taking this step?
Yeah.
Should I be making our
That's
marriage
tough.
difficult?
हाँ.
Should I keep my child, for example, if they have kids, away from a father figure?
Yeah.
तो बॉल जो है ना
इतनी layers
हमारे
हैं,
court में बहुत कम होती है.
हाँ, इतनी layers हैं कि बहुत मुश्किल है उस चीज़ को वो करना. तो वही तो बात है ना कि फिर आपके पास ऑप्शन क्या थी? आपके पास ऑप्शन ये है कि यार
good career, bad marriage, or okay career, good or okay
no,
marriage.
but what I'm saying is कि ऑप्शन में वो है ही नहीं कि he will move. ऑप्शन में ये है कि long distance और stay with me.
Yes.
ये मैं कहना चाह रही हूँ.
हाँ.
ठीक है, तो which for women is con and con.
Yes.
हाँ, so बहुत rare है वो कि उस तरह हो.
Illusion of a choice.
हाँ, illusion of a choice है.
It's not exactly a choice.
Yes, exactly. It's an illusion of a choice. And जिसमें बड़ा clear होता है. Like option तो, so वही मैं कह रही हूँ कि जहाँ पर that conversation is happening, that's good and healthy. And वो conversation एक बहुत open mind के साथ हो रही है कि यार हम दोनों, जिसमें कहते हैं ना कि partnership should be teamwork. It should not be you against me. You against me में क्या होगा कि यार ये मेरा गोल है, this is what I want and this is what I want. एक team effort में ये होगा, it's not even about middle ground. Team effort में ये होगा कि आप दोनों बैठ के देखोगे कि अच्छा अगर तुम ये pursue करती हो और मैं तुम्हारे साथ जाता हूँ तो उससे हम दोनों को क्या फ़ायदा है. ये है कि maybe your career is actually really good for our family. Maybe it's making more money. Maybe it's improving our lifestyle. Yeah. So then, बंदा कहे कि ठीक है, I'll give up. But अगर लड़की के dreams or hopes, because now it's not about you and your dreams. Yes. Now it's about the empire you're building and whether this decision or that decision is good for that. कि और sacrifice किसी के end पे आएगा. But अगर वो sacrifice किसी के end पे इस पे आ रहा है कि it's good for the both of us and their family in eventuality, then that's fine. Because in partnership, every decision is going to be like that.
Yeah.
It's never going to be about you. Yeah. So when you step into marriage, you should know that. और इस तरह भी हो सकता है कि in that conversation, it really does turn out कि यार जो मेरे husband का existing career है, existing progression है, it's in a really good direction. This is good for us and our family. So then you might have to
sacrifice.
Yeah. But I just feel like that conversation should be there. It should not be a thing set के औरत का तो है ही नहीं, वो question में ही नहीं आता
कि हाँ मैं यहाँ settled हूँ तो तुम्हें तो कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है.
हाँ, that is the flaw.
That is the flaw.
Not the sacrifice, not the discussion, not what eventually happens. It's that
the thinking
and that illusion of choice. That's the flaw. हाँ. So interesting you brought that up. बहुत ये एक insightful बात है because we don't really think about it, but it's there.
It's there in every working woman's life. It is there. Like a lot of other things that are present in working women's life.
On that topic.
That topic. when I started working, I am a very nice, sweet, treating everybody with respect, barabari, all of that kind of person.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take that compliment.
Yeah, you should.
And then, but you, again, being a woman, if you are in an authoritative figure, you are naturally not taken as like authority wise as a man. अगर मेरी सीट में in my clinic for example एक आदमी बैठा हुआ है, naturally he has more authority than me, even when I am doing everything right and even when I am setting proper rules and trying to follow all of those things, फिर भी he is better at it than I am. Why is that?
I'll tell you why. For me, एक reason तो ये है कि obviously first things first, women came in leadership positions much later. ठीक है, starting from home, man of the house is like the boss of a company. ठीक है, so क्या उसे कहते हैं, जो आपका फाइनल डिसीजन मेकर होता है, जो वो होता है, वो घर में हर किसी ने एक मर्द को ही देखा होता है मोस्टली. ठीक है, और जहाँ बाप नहीं होता वहाँ भाई होता है. ठीक है, सो फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल. उसके बाद जब आप आउटवर्डली जाते हो और प्रोफेशंस में देखते हो तो इट्स मेल डोमिनेटेड, और फिर जब आप उन्हीं प्रोफेशंस में हायरार्कीज में देखते हो तो इट्स मोस्टली मेन, राइट? सो दैट इमेजरी doesn't sit well with a lot of people, that a woman is being authoritative or saying certain things. तो वो तो चीज़ एक already है problem. Another problem is कि we've been raised in a way कि we've been raised in a way to always be submissive and mellow and sweet and use words like please and sorry and thank you a lot, like a lot, right? Because that's very feminine and that makes you a woman. And always, you know, always just being the nicer one in any situation. हमारी egos
from small things like I'm so sorry, I want to add here कि भाई को पहले खाना डाल के दो. हाँ. शादियों में मर्द का खाना पहले खुलता है. क्यों भाई?
Exactly.
Like छोटी छोटी चीज़ें के वो बात कर रहे हैं तो बीच में बात ना करो.
हाँ.
बहुत छोटी चीज़ें जो हम में इनग्रेन्ड होती हैं, मेरे में हैं, तुम्हारे में हैं, बाकी मैन इन आवर सोसाइटी में हैं.
हाँ, सो जब वो चीज़ आती है तो ऑब्वियसली फिर हमें कोई सीरियसली ही नहीं रहता इन पोजिशंस ऑफ अथॉरिटी. एंड इंटरेस्टिंगली इट्स फ्रॉम अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, इट्स नॉट इवन कमिंग इंटेंशनली बिकॉज इट्स कंडीशनिंग. लाइक उनको ना वो
पता ही नहीं है वो गलत क्या कर रहे हैं.
उनको पता ही नहीं कि वो आपको उस तरह सीरियसली नहीं. क्योंकि मेरे साथ बहुत दफ़ा हो चुका है कि यू नो लाइक मैंने भी एक बात की, एंड क्योंकि लाइक डोंट वांट टू ऑफेंड एनीबडी इन माय वर्क प्लेस.
Same, by the way. Oh my god, I'm trying so hard not to take names.
But and just to put it out there, I understand why. Like I said, because they have certain conditioning, certain imagery they've grown up with, whatever. But जो चीज़ें मैं बोलूँ और जो चीज़ें मेरा husband बोले, because we're both in a position of authority in the same working place, there's a clear difference that I can see and feel.
That you're not as
in the
well
response,
received
yes,
as he is.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'm saying that maybe that एक तो society का fault है, but I understand that maybe it's me who has to change her body language, the way that I speak and everything, to be taken equally seriously.
Yeah. For me, a year, like I'm very nice, I'm very polite, and don't get me wrong, I genuinely am. I even sit and I eat with my staff, whereas I don't have. First, let me add, I'm in the administrative role.
At your workplace as well.
At my workplace, I'm second in charge. So after my boss, it's me. I have to give orders, do the hiring and firings. I have to take care of my social media team for the clinic, all of those things. I am basically second in charge. And I feel like I've given... How do I put this? It's like, अगर आप extra nice हो जाते हो, तो वो भी बहुत बुरे तरीके से रिसीव होती है, because then you are not taken seriously. No matter what your position and your role is. Somehow it comes down to the fact कि मैंने एक साल personal relationship building की with everybody in my staff, which is about 35 people. I sit and I have food with them. I have an interpersonal relationship with them. I have all those things with them. But when it comes to rules and regulations, my rules and regulations are not taken that seriously because it's coming from a woman. So where am I going wrong? Like I am extra nice to them. I have these rules in
No,
place.
I think woman wali cheez to hai, we discussed that, but I also feel like extra niceness is a problem.
Extra niceness is a problem. I have identified.
And especially
it's really unfortunate because
what I'm saying is कि अगर तुम woman हो भी ना, and if you're not extra nice, so that could still make your situation a bit better. But already being a woman, if you're being extra nice, doesn't really work out. So then
basically
boundaries ही नहीं रही for
boundaries
people.
नहीं रही ना. And if somebody else in a male figure, if they were nice, they're very nice, but then they're still taken seriously. If a woman is nice, she's very nice and it's okay, वो तो अच्छी हैं, वो तो समझ जाएंगी, खैर है whatever. इस तरह वाली जब चीज़ हो जाती है. So unfortunately I found myself in the position where I did not want to be, where I did not want to be a bitch per se, you know, where you have to raise your voice or where you have to do something to get the work done.
हाँ, जब तक आवाज़ नहीं ऊंची की, जब तक aggressive नहीं हुए, जब तक bitch mode नहीं on हुआ,
तब तक आपको उन्होंने provoke किया. So it literally took me a year and then I reached my level, and then I had a few incidents where I actually lost it, or I actually, you know, was like, no, this and that. I'm not going to reenact the whole situation was bad.
But no, I get it, and that's the thing ना, वो इतनी funny बात है कि पहले, like, women are not taken seriously in society, and when they have to act like a total bitch, they're like,
then
oh, what a bitch, crazy bitch. She lost
Still,
her crazy bitch, lost her mind, PMSing.
PMSing is the worst.
Like, no,
ridiculous.
No, can you like stop putting the blame on the woman for everything and realize for a second that maybe
you are wrong.
Yeah.
So,
and that she's literally now screaming to be taken seriously.
To be taken seriously. वही चीज़. And nobody likes that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be that. Yeah. Like हमारे अपने अंदर इतनी shame है उस चीज़ को लेके, especially for working women, के मैं वो crazy bitch बन गई ना,
मैं crazy bitch
चीखें मार रही होती है काम पे, या जिसने वो किया है or something इस तरह हुआ है, आपको अपना आप बुरा लगता है. But along the way I learned that you can be friendly, but you have to have a balance. Unfortunately आप उन्हीं के साथ जो हो अपनी boundaries रखना ज़रूरी होता है, because it is healthier for a longer term relationship rather than a short term. आप बहुत nice है, बहुत वो हुआ, then आपकी authority और respect ख़त्म हो गई, and फिर वो.
हाँ, ये एक interesting बात है, इस पर add on that, कि एक working woman होती है कि not taken seriously. एक होता है administrative role और boss position, जिसमें मैं भी हूँ, ठीक है,
bitch role basically.
boss bitch.
Boss bitch in its literal meaning.
अच्छा, हाँ, so उसमें ना whether you're a male or female, मैं just एक boss role पे आऊँगी, ठीक है. You've seen how I've been as a boss as well, you know, and हमारे work culture में भी, like, I can say that for myself and Muzammil both, that we really bent over backwards for our team a lot of the times. And you know, I can say that with full confidence. They know this, they can vouch for it, you know. But usme, and they can also understand this, and they know this, that usme there are a lot of times that boundaries have been blurred, we have been taken non-seriously, you know, like to this point कि no, मतलब कुछ भी चलते फिरते कह जाओ, कर जाओ, छुट्टी मार लो, chill कर लो. उसमें realization हुई कि you have to find that balance between having a healthy relationship with people that are working in your team, but also making sure कि आपकी boundaries जो हैं, they remain intact. That's a skill. That's a skill जो I feel कि, you know, because at the end of the day, we are young people, Anmol. And I think that is something that we will learn over time.
I have learned so much about this in the past year. मतलब a year ago तो मुझे ये concept भी नहीं था कि यार आप बदतमीजी से बात करो.
लेकिन मैं कह रही हूँ कि लर्न ये नहीं करना, बदतमीजी नहीं लर्न करनी. प्रॉब्लम ये होता है ज़्यादातर लोगों का, आई थिंक वी हैड दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन बिफोर एज वेल, कि व्हेन यू हैव इंसिडेंट्स लाइक दिस, दे टेंड टू मेक यू हार्ड. एंड उसमें होता है कि आपका जनरल एटीट्यूड टूवर्ड्स योर टीममेट्स एंड एम्प्लॉयज़ यही बन जाता है कि वेयर यू आर कॉन्स्टेंट बॉस बिच मोड कि इनको लाइन पे रखो हर वक्त, ठीक है, and I don't agree with that. I feel like that's a very toxic relationship between an employer and employee.
And frankly, it's not even good for you. Like, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
so constantly in a bitch mode.
Yeah, but it's a very natural progression to go into when you feel like this is what you have to do to be taken seriously. Yes,
this is what will get the job done.
But it's important to reflect at this point कि अच्छा ये incident हुआ है, ये हुआ है. How can I do this in a more healthy way, you know? So मतलब फिर मैंने सोचा कि you know I'll have more effective communication and evaluation with the people in my team. Tell them कि you know I've been feeling disrespected. I feel like you don't take me seriously. Boundaries आपने बिल्कुल हमारी भूल गए हैं. Have a healthy conversation on that rather than being emotional about it and be like कि ठीक है, I don't want like to this point कि you know I want कि हमारी relationship भी रहे लेकिन boundaries भी respect हों ताकि हमारी relationship destroy ना हो. Like we have a wonderful relationship, right?
Yeah.
So communication बेहतर की जाए, अपनी body language बेहतर की जाए, अपनी language बेहतर की जाए. Literally removing words like just can you know please can make a lot of difference where you're not even being बदतमीज ना bitchy हो रहे हो लेकिन एक sense of boundary because of that line sentence that you've changed वो खुद ही establish हो जाती है. You know, it's not बदतमीजी, it's just that you are making sure that they know कि boundary क्या है. And there's क्योंकि problem ये कि अनमोल, why have we ended up being extra nice and doing these things? क्योंकि वो हमारे culture का एक problem है जहाँ पर बाउंड्रीज का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं है और जहाँ बाउंड्री इज इक्वल टू बदतमीजी. ये हमारे कल्चर का प्रॉब्लम है. एट एवरी सिंगल रिलेशनशिप इन योर लाइफ एनी काइंड ऑफ बाउंड्री इज बदतमीजी.
यस इंडीड.
तो वर्क पे तो एक और बात है,
बदतमीजी में डिफरेंस है वो. बट एंड आई वांटेड टू ऐड एट द टाइम बट देन अच्छा बड़ा फ्लो बना हुआ था कि बट इट इज टेकन एज बदतमीजी.
हाँ, इट्स एक्चुअली जस्ट अ बाउंड्री.
इट्स जस्ट अ बाउंड्री.
हाँ हाँ.
Yeah,
so
I 100% agree.
Yeah, and I think that you and I, and like you know, we have a long way to go and learn what it actually means to be a boss and how to be a boss.
Yeah,
and how to get things done as a woman. Like
as a woman without losing your shit and without losing your integrity. Without like I remember the first time I ever
lost your shit.
Yeah, basically the first time I ever lost my shit. I came home and I cried because one, I felt bad. Two, I felt like I have lost my professional integrity. Why was my volume raised? Why was this? Why did I do this? मुझे इतना
बुरा लग रहा होगा कि मैं कितनी unprofessional थी, कितनी stupid थी, कितनी stupid, foolish. Like
I felt terrible about it.
I get it.
So yeah, it's a journey and I'm getting better at it. बट ये चीज़ें विद एक्सपीरियंस ही समझ आती हैं या ऐसी पॉडकास्ट सुन के समझ आती हैं. लेकिन ये चीज़ें विद एक्सपीरियंस आप लर्न करते ओवर टाइम. फॉर समबडी हु डजंट वर्क उनको नहीं पता. फॉर एग्जाम्पल व्हेन टेक मी अ ईयर 2 years बिफोर एंड आई बी लाइक नो अंडर नो सर्कमस्टांसिस नहीं, आपको नहीं करना चाहिए, स्पेशली विद पीपल हु आर वर्किंग फॉर यू और एज योर टीम फॉर यू. एंड ये वो बिल्कुल भी नहीं, नो आई डोंट एग्री टू दिस. But unfortunately, I'm sitting here eating my words and I'm saying कि नहीं यार कभी कभार करना पड़ता है.
हाँ, I think जो realization है वो मेनली इस पॉइंट पे है कि जब इस तरह की चीज़ें होती हैं ना तो आपके दिमाग में ना फर्स्ट थॉट होती है कि यार आइंदा से ना I'm gonna show them who's boss. आपके दिमाग में ये आती है, ठीक है. And I think that's a dangerous thought because of that हमारी वर्क सोसाइटीज़ के अंदर, वर्क कल्चर्स के अंदर most people are just bosses. They are not leaders.
Yes.
ठीक है. And that is why you have to stop that thought and be like, you know, I'm going to be a leader, so I'm going to figure out a more healthy way to do this without making it an ego thing, without making it a dick measuring contest. You know, ego, like forget the ego. Think about the eventual goal because this.
Yeah, how are you going to improve efficiency or make better communication to avoid and tackle this problem rather than being like, बच्चों मैं बताती.
Because you know what that's going to do? It's literally just going to destroy your own company.
Yeah.
It's like अपने आप को.
It's like one person, even one bad person or one person with a flawed mentality like this can make the entire workplace toxic.
Yeah, negative, बहुत ज़्यादा negative culture आपके नेगेटिविटी आ जाती है आपके वर्क कल्चर के अंदर.
Yes.
You don't want that, right?
Not at all. Nobody wants that. There's no growth there.
Yeah.
I pity those लोग जो घर आते हैं और कहते हैं यार मतलब काम पे there's constant leg pulling for them or there's constant वो negativity for them. Like poor souls, you have to go every single day.
Yeah.
That's the energy that you put into yourself, and you come home, you're drained, you're exhausted. A workplace should not be draining, and if it is, leave it right now. If it's toxic and you know it, just leave it. It's not good for you, and it's not going to do any good.
एक और चीज़ मैं कहूँगी कि जब आप एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मैनेजरियल पोजीशन में होते हो, CEO पोजीशन में होते हो, ऐसी चीज़ों में होते हो ना, तो you really have to have it together in many other areas of life. क्योंकि if you are insecure for one reason or the other, कोई भी आपकी लाइफ में insecurities हैं इस वक्त, issues हैं इस वक्त, self esteem आपकी अगर low है, तो it will be very easy for people to get under your skin.
Yes.
कि किसी ने कुछ बोल दिया ना, आप बहुत easily challenged feel करोगे, आपकी ईगो ऐसे हर्ट होगी क्योंकि आपकी सेल्फ इस्टीम इतनी पुअर है. मजाक में भी कोई बात करे क्योंकि आप उसको बहुत पर्सनली अटैक लोगे, एंड विच विल elicit a response. और ये मैं इससे कह रही हूँ बिकॉज आई हैव डन दैट. आई हैव बिन देयर वेयर मेरी सेल्फ इस्टीम वॉज सो पुअर, मेरे इनसिक्योरिटीज इतने इशूज़ थे कि जब किसी ने आके इनोसेंटली कोई बात की है कुछ, मुझे जो भी है, और उसके ऊपर मैंने रिएक्शन दिया है, यू नो, एंड दैट, सो इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टू यू नो बी वेरी वेरी ऑफ के यार कि यहाँ पर इट वॉजंट वारंटेड और इट वॉज वारंटेड, एंड हाउ डू यू मेक दोज हेल्दी बाउंड्रीज फॉर योर सेल्फ एंड दोज पीपल. तो आई थिंक इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू बी अ पर्सन इन अ लीडरशिप पोजिशन and not let your
ego,
personal life issues
or insecurities
come in the way. You really have to have your shit together. Like, it's fine. Nothing rattles me. That is hard. Because everybody is looking up to you. Like, when I was going through this, and this was mostly postpartum, I really had to, obviously I didn't have my shit together. I was a new mom. Like, things were blowing up. You know? So it was very difficult for me to just switch that off, come to work and act like I have my shit together. And it was very hard.
I remember this was one of your biggest struggles.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. And how do I pretend in front of everyone that, you know, like, it's all good. I can make the decisions. My mind is working when it wasn't working. You know, I haven't slept, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
वो जो चीज़ है ना,
that's
hard. Yeah.
But it's fun to learn also. It's fun when it's not fun when it's happening to you, but it's fun when you're
able to actually reflect on it.
Yes, when you kind of start figuring it out कि अच्छा यार देखो इस तरह आपको feel होता है. It's another achievement. It's little achievements within one achievement. कि learning new things, learning new leadership things, learning कि अपना ego नहीं बीच में आने देना चाहिए, learning the difference between a boss and a leader, learning the difference, learning how to take everybody forward rather than just thinking about yourself.
Yeah, and just sort of like, you know, it's like खरांट सी सांस होना कि making sure कि you know who's boss and who controls everything, rather than thinking about it as a family thing, you know, in a home कि हमने इकट्ठा इसको
इस घर को कैसे आगे लेके जाना है,
हैप्पी हेल्दी फैमिली कैसे बनानी है, वही वाली बात है. हाँ, और किसी और से थ्रेटन नहीं होना, you know,
किसी और से थ्रेटन नहीं होना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. बाय द वे, इट्स वेरी इजी टू से एंड वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डू, बट
यार अगर आपको पता है ना ये चीज़ें, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. एवरीथिंग दैट वी टॉक्ड अबाउट, people don't reflect on it. A lot of people, वही मैं कह रही हूँ ना कि people go into that flow कि I'll tell you who's boss. Like, जब नेगेटिव चीज़ें होती हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन दे हैवंट बीन लाइक दैट बिफोर, और फिर इस तरह के इंसिडेंट्स होते हैं, सो दे एंड अप sort of going into that, and they feel like that was the only way they could have dealt with. But if you take that moment to reflect, that's not the only way to deal with it. But who knows? Because I know I've seen my mom, you know, like a lot of times she's like, yeah, okay, great, all that is great, but trust me. And obviously she has a lot more experience. She's like, many times this is the only way.
I remember
happens.
when I first discussed this thing with you, you were like, that's what my mom says, okay, sometimes this is the
only way. Yeah. So
and I was like, हाँ आप सही कह रही बिल्कुल सही है.
हाँ, और पता है मैं growing up I saw my mom be like that a lot of times and I'd be like यार क्या
नहीं बनना मैंने.
हाँ, but पता है क्या, a lot of things make sense now. You know, when you grow into a woman and you realize and especially because my mom, she didn't have that, like her struggle to be taken seriously because she didn't have a husband, वो तो एक और ही level पे है ना. हाँ,
that's next level.
तो खैर, back to your work as an aesthetic physician. एक सवाल मैं पूछूंगी कि you decided to go do a diploma in Dubai. ठीक है, तुमने मेंशन किया. मुझे तुम ये बताओ कि तुमने कहा कि उस वक्त तक like how did you end up making that decision? Because a lot of time ऐसे होता है ना कि यार if you're not even sure that if you're in it for the good, then how did you end up making the decision of spending that money, getting that diploma? Because तुम्हें वहाँ पर जाकर realization हुई कि नहीं हाँ fit है. So क्यों तुमने ये किया diploma?
One, I wanted more experience and exposure. Two, I wanted a thappa. And one more thing that I'd like to add here, in this field, I feel like I get a lot of queries for young aspiring aesthetic physicians who are like, how and why and what is the journey? What should we do first? So for those people, I think experience pehle aata hai. Don't go directly into a diploma or something because there's so much that it can overwhelm you very easily. And it's full blown, like it's full blown पढ़ाई. आपको पता होना चाहिए, आपको ना पता हो तो काम चल रहा है, बट आपको पता होना चाहिए वो सारी चीज़ें. They teach you about machines, they teach you about wavelengths, they teach you about skin types, they teach you about basic skin diseases, they teach you about everything. But you need to start working first in a clinic, which is any clinic, चाहे आपको फ्री में करना पड़ा हो, to get that experience, and then आप अपने नाम के साथ कोई ठप्पा ऐड करवाएं, then आप अपने ऊपर काम करें, and then obviously with time आप करते रहते हो वो चीज़. आप इधर चले गए ये कर लिया, उधर चले गए ये कर लिया, ये चीज़ अपने बेल्ट के नीचे कर ली, वो चीज़ कर ली. But in this field दूसरा प्रॉब्लम जो आता है, people don't want to teach.
अच्छा,
people don't want since it's a very new field.
हाँ,
जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग, जो पिछले डेकेड से बैठे हुए हैं इस फील्ड में, दे डोंट वांट अपकमिंग पीपल बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी अपकमिंग फील्ड इन पाकिस्तान. And they don't want new people to come and share the market. Suddenly there's these big fish that are sitting on this whole population जो सिर्फ यही हैं लोग जो ये
basically they're threatened by new young aesthetic physicians.
Yes, but you know ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए because no matter what you do, it's not like they're going to stop coming, you know, like it's not like they'll stop no matter how many hindrances you create. जिसने करना है उसने कर लेना है जैसे तैसे करके. So it's best to actually mentor them and teach them properly rather than trying to create hindrances. And especially in my field, I feel like there's so many, most doctors that I've interacted with, they would not share their tips and tricks. They would not share their techniques. They would not do all of those things. And after having experienced that firsthand, that was the thing that propelled me towards a diploma. I was like, oh, okay, if you think that, oh, okay, मेरी growth यहाँ रुक जाएगी because you don't want to teach me or tell me, you know, that's not the case. I will continue to learn regardless, if not here then there. ठीक है? And that thing also taught me कि ये नहीं करना किसी के साथ. It feels really bad to be in that position where you ask somebody for help or where you ask somebody to guide you and you're not given that guidance because you're perceived as a potential threat.
But this shows a lack of growth mindset and a lack of sense of security because you're very insecure of being, you know, toppled over उस तरह से. But like मुझे होता है कि generally ना, because हमारे यहाँ या पता नहीं कहाँ but हमारे यहाँ तो ये होता है कि like you know, जब आप किसी field में काम कर रहे हो तो लोग जो हैं they are all about themselves. Like they don't see the fact कि स्पेशली अगर एक ये रेयर इंडस्ट्री है जो कि अभी इतनी फ्लरिश नहीं की, तो वो उसको उस तरह नहीं देखते कि यार अच्छी बात है और लोग आए, इंडस्ट्री को फ्लरिश करना चाहिए. ठीक है, वो उनका माइंडसेट ये है,
दे फील दैट हमें काम कम मिलेगा.
हाँ, बट उनकी दैट इज़ अ पुअर मेंटालिटी. आई टेल यू व्हाई, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट कि उन्हें इससे फ़ायदा हो रहा है, बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इफ़ दे रादर थिंक लाइक दिस कि हम मैक्सिमम लोगों को ट्रेन करें, हम इंडस्ट्री को खड़ा करें, हम पायनियर्स बन के निकलें, ठीक है, देन उनको भी फ़ायदा है और इंडस्ट्री को भी फ़ायदा है. अगर वो इस तरह करेंगे ना तो इवेंचुअली लोगों ने तो आना है, ठीक है, एंड दे वोंट इवन हैव दैट, और उनको वो रिस्पेक्ट ही नहीं मिलेगी दैट दे कैन हैव. लाइक अगर वो उस चीज़ को इस तरह लें कि यार हाँ वी आर द फर्स्ट वंस, तो इट इज़ अपॉन अस to create this industry, appear as pioneers in this, like they're not seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah. But even I feel like some of the pioneers here in Pakistan, जो उन्होंने पायोनियर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं और वो कर रहे हैं कि अच्छा इस रास्ते के थ्रू आपने आना है, बट वो भी रास्ते हिंड्रेंसेस हैं, सो दैट हर कोई उठ के ना इसमें आ जाए. वो भी हिंड्रेंसेस हैं, वो भी फिल्टर्स हैं जो उन्होंने लगाए हैं.
तो वही तो मैं कह रही हूँ, तो दैट्स नॉट द ट्रू, not truly being an industry specialist, that's not truly being a pioneer of setting something up in this country, which is a golden opportunity for anyone, but they don't see it like that, you know.
Especially when I came back from Dubai and I had so many queries and so many questions from aspiring doctors, it actually motivated me to have very small simple workshops like a Botox workshop or a contouring workshop or basic how to use fillers or something kind of workshops for people who also don't want to pay, like जो अब workshops आई हुई, अब आ गई हैं workshops थोड़ी बहुत, in the past year 2 years actually, not before that even, कि वो 2 लाख 3 लाख दे के नहीं करना चाहते हैं वर्कशॉप, वो नहीं, और नहीं भी करनी चाहिए. पहले आपको एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए भाई, पहले आप एक्सपीरियंस करें, बिकॉज आपने एक चीज़ सीख ली है और आपकी प्रैक्टिस नहीं है तो वो चीज़ आपको भूल जाएगी no matter what,
क्योंकि आपको चीज़ें उससे समझ ही नहीं आती जब तक आपने hands on वो एक experience ना किया हो.
And when you learn hands on and then you get a course or then you get some more training, आपको आपकी basics, आपकी foundation strong होती है, आपको ऊपर से tips and tricks पता चल जाती हैं, instead of being overwhelmed and bombarded with all this information. So I actually thought that I should have a few workshops for people, like very cheap ones for people who want to do this and want to practice and everything. But I just never got around to it.
Maybe one day, eventually.
Eventually.
इन चीज़ों के लिए टाइम और स्पेस भी तो चाहिए होती है ना.
Time or space.
Here we are 1 hour into the conversation. And I think we've discussed a lot of really, really nice things. And I just want to say here कि तुम्हारी जो journey रही है, and I think I've said this before to you as well, like I'm so proud of where you are and where you've come. And no matter what anybody says, और चलते फिरते तुम्हें कहते तुम actual doctor तो नहीं हो.
No, you know, actually, alhamdulillah, nobody says that to me.
Yeah, but अगर तुम्हें कभी feel हो या कभी नहीं किसी ने ऐसी कोई बात की, so, you know, like I know you're already very confident about what you're doing, but you should be very proud of what you're doing.
Allah ka बहुत शुक्र है. Right place, right time, and lots of my mom's duas, and people like you, honestly, people like you and other people who have achieved things in their lives around me that gave me the inspiration and the motivation कि यार हाँ तुम भी कर सकती हो. So I think मकसद इन सारी चीज़ों का, इन conversations का यही होता है, to inspire other people कि यार get up and do something, because they don't have these positive conversations
around them
in their houses. Maybe their parents aren't aware, maybe their friends are not those kinds. But when you find the right kind of friends and when you find the right kind of company, it only helps you flourish. It never pulls you down.
जहाँ पर fruitful conversation हो रही हो, stuff that brings
broadens your horizons, basically. So yeah, man, it's all you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, guys. बहुत मज़ा आया मुझे. आपको मज़ा आया?
यार मज़ा आया. हाँ.
असल में ये ऐसी कह रही हो?
नहीं. I think I really enjoyed it. I think we really got into it at quite a few points.
हाँ. Is this good? Is this the stuff you sort of had in mind when you wanted to come here and speak?
I did. I wanted to have, like I told you, I wanted to have meaningful conversations जिसमें से लोग कुछ घर लेके जा सकें या किसी को कोई benefit हो. ना कि बस meaningless, वो तो हर कहीं हर कोई कर ही रहा होता है, राइट?
हाँ. No, I'm sure that there was a lot of benefit a lot of people can take from here. Lots of very in-depth discussion about lots of different things in life. कुछ चीज़ें लोगों के लिए obviously relatable होती हैं. I feel like बहुत सारी conversations, like there are a lot of women who are not working or not in administrative positions, but it's good to have that insight still. Okay, you know what it's like for those people, and because of that, listening to people like that talk, we can humanize those people that we know are in those positions. And once we can do that, तो हम बहुत सारे लोगों के लिए we can develop empathy just by getting to know these things. बात ये कि हमारा बहुत सारे लोगों से interaction होता है day in and day out, but we don't know these things about them, or that could be going on in their head, right? So listening to these conversations really opens up our mind and helps us humanize and empathize with people. So thank you so much for listening. Hope it was insightful, and I'll see you again next time. Allah Hafiz.